Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Manifestation Therapy Podcast. I'm Judy Hawley, clinical social worker, trauma therapist, master manifestation coach. This podcast blends the wisdom of universal principles with the transformative neuroscience of manifestation. You'll find inspiration for an abundant, aligned life. In each episode, I share strategies, insights, and conversations with healers, mental health professionals, coaches, thought leaders, and individuals with powerful personal stories. Before we begin, a quick note. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect my personal beliefs or the principles of manifestation therapy. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and always honor your own intuition. Brainspotting is holistic because it doesn't treat the mind, body, and spirit as separate systems. It works with all three at once through the subcortical brain and the felt sense in the body, and the intuitive energetic field that is around us, so that we can be attuned with each other, so the practitioner and the person getting brain spotting. What this really means is that brain spotting is deep processing that happens beyond cognition. It bypasses your thinking, your prefrontal cortex, and your executive functioning. It actually goes straight into the subcortical brain through the ocular nerves and a focus spot that the eyes are on. Through that spot people are focused on, they are actually accessing their emotional memories, their implicit beliefs, and whatever they need to process. Rather than logically figuring out what they are working on, they can rewire things. So by accessing the midbrain and the unconscious patterning, brain spotting releases stuck memories at the same time as quieting the prefrontal cortex through internal processing without overthinking. It has the ability to reorganize internal narratives by dissolving whatever the emotional charge is that's holding them in place. At the same time, it's strengthening intuitive clarity within the insula, that part of the brain that is in charge of your intuition or interception. So mental clarity actually increases, thought patterns shift, and cognitive distortions, those things like catastrophizing, soften, because the brain is no longer defending or trying to make sense of the imprints anymore. It's no longer about managing symptoms, but actually unwinding the source. And then somatically, the body regulation and completion of old survival responses becomes possible because the spot that someone is looking is activating their neural network that's connected to what has been stored in the body. So old patterning from the body can kind of release through muscles, through unconscious protective tensions that are held, or stored survival responses can be released through the basal ganglia. That's why often your neck can become activated when you're in a triggered response. The brainstem and the felt sense of the hippocampus are all activated in brain. Autonomic regulation can happen because shifting the body out of chronic hypervigilance or involuntary tremors, heat, yawning, shaking. These are all signs of discharge that happen during a brain spotting session. People can even get nauseous, and this releases whatever the body needs to. The vagus nerve also softens and allows more ventral vagal states and a deeper sense of safety. So the body basically moves into safety and the nervous system becomes more resilient and present. One of the most fascinating aspects of brain spotting is how connected it is to connection with the bigger picture. So your higher self, your divine source, God, if you want to call it that, your intuition, your connection with spirit. Brain spotting opens this inner spiritual channel because once survival energy releases, your system just naturally rises into connection, insight, and alignment. It's truly amazing. The brain regions within the subcortical brain are in charge of holding trauma, emotional memory, regulation, and the default mode network of the DMN, which is in charge of self-awareness, interception, and inner guided knowing, it actually can become regulated. So this includes the medial prefrontal cortex or posterior cingulate cortex or the inferior parietal lobe. And I may be saying some of those wrong, so forgive me if I am. When the DMN becomes regulated rather than hyperactive or shut down, people often will experience a deeper intuition, self-truth, integration and clarity, and a connection to something larger. This part of the brain is actually associated with meditation, intuition, higher self-experience, and brain spotting can calm the noise. Whatever's interrupting the DMN functioning is no longer there. So the insula is our inner truth of the body. It's the interception and intuition, that felt sense bridge between body sensations, emotional states, intuitive knowing. And the insula is more accurate when an individual is grounded. So if the insula is the key to turning sensation in brain spotting into meaning. And then there's the ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex. It's in charge of awareness, of integration, of emotional honesty. And it actually supports the integration of emotional information. So it helps us make sense of our inner experiences and connection with meaningful emotion. So this region can become more active once the threat response has calmed down. So many brain spotting clients have reported that everything becomes clear with a bigger picture. And it's happening. The prefrontal cortex in the brain, where we make meaning from, where we have spiritual reflection and connect with a higher level of perspective, once the lower brain is able to stop firing in survival mode, once it no longer feels there's a threat, that prefrontal cortex can come back online and allow perspective, compassion, this connection to our logic and reflection, even if it's spiritual understanding, and accessing our values and our truth and making sense of what was felt during the session. So many have described this as a connection with spirit, of higher self or divine alignment. I've had some pretty intense client sessions where they see visuals or lights. There's also this transcendence connection. So a connection beyond ourself, and it can seem like a mystical experience, where connection to something bigger than what we sense. And it's kind of out of the box insight or intuition that can show. And this can be activated by the temporal partial junction, the TPJ, which means we're basically returning to online during a brain spotting when a calm state is reached. And research has shown that meditation, which we all accept now, and mystical states can activate that TPJ, but brain spotting also reorganizes the subcortical stress, so the TPJ can become accessible again. The holistic aspect of brain spotting makes it feel spiritual because it removes the survival noise that blocks our access into it. When the amygdala calms, the insula awakens and the DMN organizes. And then the PFC comes online, the prefrontal cortex. So people are able to naturally rise into insight, clarity, intuition, connection, alignment, and higher level consciousness, which is why it's so amazing. This is also why so many clients describe brain spotting experiences that feel mystical or sacred, deeply intuitive, guided, connected to higher self or spirit, and transformative beyond words. It's also probably why my spiritual side is coming out so much. Brain spotting is literally where neurobiology meets the soul. There's this dual attunement to consider with brain spotting, which is one of the most misunderstood aspects of brain spotting because people think it's only relational attunement. In reality, it has 3 dimensions: neurobiological attunement, relational attunement, energetic field attunement are the neurobiological part of attunement is co-regulation through the nervous system. So when 2 people are attuned, their nervous systems synchronize. We know this through the measurable research that has been done. Like for instance, with moms and their children, especially like infancy when they're first born. It's been shown that heart rates synchronize, breathing patterns synchronize, brainwave patterns shift into coherence, and vagal tone entrains to this calmer system. Mirror neuron systems activate. And this is a physiological attunement in brain spotting. The therapist's grounded, regulated presence signals to the client's subcortical brain that it's actually safe to process. That safety alters the amygdala reactivity, the midbrain threat detection, the limbic's emotional tone, and the vagus nerve pathways. This is why the spiritual experience emerges later. The lower brain stops interfering so much. The lower brain is in charge of our fight, flight, freeze, fawning that gets sent to the body. The relational attunement of attachment presence in deep witnessing creates this non-judgmental space where dual attunement allows the practitioner to track the client's neurobiology, the client's emotional waves, and the internal process happens beneath expression. So this can activate the ventral vagal social engagement system, which communicates safety, resonance, bonding, co-regulation, so that when a client feels seen and safe, it actually allows the brain to open and associate states of the brain associated with trust or openness or surrender, self-connection, which are states familiar in meditation, prayer, deep intuition, and spiritual alignment. So the spiritual channel actually opens because the psychological defenses are quieter. With the energetic attunement of the science behind field connection, neuroscience actually supports this, with humans having a measurable electromagnetic and bioenergetic field. Humans have this measurable electromagnetic and bioenergetic field around them. And the science behind energetic attunement has been shown in this electromagnetic field. It's actually measurable with the heart for up to, they say, 3 to 8 feet. That's pretty big. And when two people are attuned, their heart rhythm creates this coherent pattern, and these patterns influence the other person's nervous system. So there's this coherence creating calm, clarity, and intuition. And this is the science backing why there is this energetic presence when two people are attuned. It's pretty cool. Also, the brain has this electromagnetic field as well. And we know that through monitoring with EEG, those things that they stick all over your head, right? Where brain waves produce a bioelectric field around our head. So during deep attunement with brain, they actually can shift into this more synchronized rhythm. So this synchronization improves the interception and the intuitive perception of the other, so that the client can sense energetically what the therapist senses and vice versa. This is the science behind the shared field people describe. I have had the sensations that my clients are having a lot of the time, and it's now how I know that they're kind of shifting into a calmer state. The polyvagal and default mode network interception is also known to be part of this attunement. When survival energy downshifts thanks to the attuned relationship, the system accesses interceptive awareness, insight, and intuition, spiritual. This is because the DMN becomes quiet and coherent, like in meditation. The ventral vagal system increases safety and connection. The insula heightens intuitive interception, knowing. And then the ACC integrates emotion and meaning. And then the TPJ opens the sense of beyond the self. So these combined create this state where clients will often say it feels like it's spiritual insight or divine connection, connecting to the higher self or intuition. It's basically alignment and guidance, and it's not magic. It's this neuro-spiritual state created by safety, attunement, and subcortical release. Dual attunement creates subcortical safety and relational resonance and energetic coherence. This combination calms the amygdala, opens the insula intuition, integrates the ACC, activates the TPJ, which is our transcendence and our meaning, and then synchronizes the heart-brain field to clear that survival noise from the nervous system. When the body stops running survival programs, the spiritual channel naturally becomes audible. And this is why people report this deep clarity with intuitive download. Ancestral or higher self connection happens, and an emotional transmutation with energetic release and a sense of alignment, a purpose, it exists. It comes to front. Spiritual experience is not separate from neurobiology. It actually emerges when our brain-body system finally has enough safety to access our higher state. Everything is connection, and we are made up of energy because we are energy. We are everything. That's why there's this, we are the higher source. Dual attunement creates this state of such deep safety, physiologically, emotionally, energetically, psychologically, that the body can relax, the mind can quiet, and the spirit can begin to speak. It's the combination of two nervous systems in coherence, two minds in resonance, and two energy fields interacting that actually can open this inner channel for intuition, connection, and spiritual insight. So Brainspotting is truly holistic. It works on all three layers simultaneously. The mind through reorganization of implicit emotional and unconscious layering, the body by discharging stored neurobiological imprint of trauma, shifting the nervous system into safety and flexibility, and the spirit through opening access into intuition, inner truth, connection, and our higher self. Rather than having our systems be hijacked in survival states, covered up with medications, or tried to thought away whatever emotion we're stuck in. Brainspotting isn't talking about healing, it's actually creating it. It is not analyzing your trauma, it's unwinding it. And it's not separating your mind and body and spirit, it's actually reuniting them. It's coming home. And the reason Brainspotting can support you in expanding into your purpose and enhancing your creativity, your business skills, your executive functioning, and your brain-body connection is because it activates it all. It works from a holistic point for you as opposed to one part of you. And it does this in a safe, non-judgmental, energetic way with another individual who not only provides that guidance, but also provides you with regulation you need to move through into where you want to be. If you have not tried Brainspotting yet, reach out to me and we'll connect to see what we can do holistically to improve and help you manifest the life you want. This is Judy Holly of Manifestation Therapy. Please like, follow, and share, and thanks for listening.